What if the world's most enduring religious stories were never meant to be read as history, but are highly encoded biological maps of your body? This diagram maps a descent from conscious thought down to physical form. Ancient esoteric texts suggest that we are actually humans, beings composed of pure light. As our vibrational frequencies slow down, that light solidifies, trapping us in physical matter. This materialization forces the soul into a state of spiritual amnesia. As consciousness descends into the dense physical vibrations of the root chakra, it loses the memory of its divine origin. Ancient traditions personified this material limitation as the planet Saturn, a name that morphed into Satan, the adversary who blinds the mind to its true nature. This chart outlines the psychological effects of blocked energetic centers. When consciousness is trapped in these lower regions, the root and sacral centers, a person remains fixated entirely on survival, fear, and physical pleasure. Breaking free from this physical illusion requires a highly specific internal biological sequence. To ensure this sequence survived through the centuries, ancient architects encoded it into the most famous story ever told. When ancient scriptures speak of ascending to the Holy Land or meeting in the upper room, they provide coordinates for the upper human brain. Deep within this biological Holy Land is the claustrum. It produces a specialized psychophysical fluid. Etymologically, claustrum shares a root with Santa Claus, a mythos about an entity bringing a gift down from the body's North Pole. This anatomical map isolates the brain's endocrine glands. Before the fluid produced by the claustrum can begin its journey, it receives a dual electrical and magnetic charge from two specific structures. The pineal gland provides a male electrical charge. The pituitary gland provides a female magnetic charge. In the allegorical narrative, the pineal is Joseph and the pituitary is Mary. This internal synergy between the two glands suggests that the story of the Christ child is an anatomical parable. It describes the birth of a sacred substance within the head, shifting focus from a historical figure to a recurring biological event inside the skull. Once charged, this oil must travel down from the brain. This biological action is the physical reality behind the theological metaphor of Jesus descending from heaven into physical form. In the texts, the protagonist travels down the River Jordan. In human anatomy, that river is the central canal of the spinal cord. The fluid makes its way down the vertebrae until it reaches the absolute base of the spine, where its downward momentum stops entirely. It pools in the sacrum bone. This skeletal structure is concave, resembling a hollow enclosure. Allegorically, this is Bethlehem, located near the Dead Sea. Physically, it is the literal cave where the seed rests. According to the esoteric tradition, this delicate fluid remains in the sacral cave for exactly 2.5 to 3 days. This precise time frame is mirrored in the story of Jesus lying dead in the tomb for 3 days. This resting period is highly volatile. An acidic diet, excessive alcohol, or the depletion of sexual energy will destroy the fluid right here. If that happens, the individual remains locked in a low-frequency state of consciousness, effectively killing the inner Christ. If the fluid is preserved through strict physical discipline, it awakens a latent energy at the base of the spine. The intense heat of this kundalini energy vaporizes the fluid into a high-frequency gas. This schematic illustrates the Ida and Pingala nerves. The newly formed gaseous energy uses these pathways to forcefully ascend the spinal column, reversing its original descent. To reach the brain, this energy must climb past every single bone in the spinal column. There are exactly 33 vertebrae. This anatomical ascent is the biological basis for several major esoteric symbols. The 33 vertebrae are the origin of the 33 degrees of Freemasonry, and they form the physical structure of Jacob's ladder reaching up to heaven. This brings us to the crucifixion. The scriptural death of Christ at age 33 is the physiological metaphor for this charged energy crossing the 33rd vertebra and intersecting with the pneumogastric or vagus nerve. This crossing is the biological crucible. It represents the death of pure physical matter and its final transformation into spiritual energy. The external religious structures built over millennia point back to this single sequence. Mastering this 33-step physiological process is the true prerequisite for spiritual awakening. Having cleared the spine, the vaporized oil re-enters the upper room of the brain. Its final target is the pineal gland. When the energy strikes this gland, the effect is systemic. It activates dormant brain cells and initiates cellular regeneration throughout the entire body. The physiological system is quite literally born again. At this stage, the ego dissolves. The individual achieves a state known as the 1,000-petal crown frequency, shifting their awareness out of the physical realm and into what ancient mystics called God consciousness. The architectural blueprints left behind by the ancients reinforce this. The legendary Temple of Solomon is actually a phonetic code for the Temple of the Soul and Mon, the sun and the moon. That temple is your own anatomy. The human body serves as the ultimate biological archive. Every celestial realm and divine frequency operates through these specific internal mechanics, proving that the universe is a projection occurring entirely within your own biology.